Hello, my companion. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And we're going to talk about setting the goal and achieving your goal, setting your goal and achieving your goal in any situation. How do you set the goal and achieve the goal in any situation, but especially situations that you want to experience love and joy in? So we're going to start out with that. And we're going to take a moment to hear our theme song so that we can get centered as everyone tunes in. And we're going to start out with our theme song, which is I Am Not a Victim. I'm not a what? I am not a victim. Now remember what? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. You're not a victim of the world you see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events, circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Yeah, I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. And that includes the good stuff. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. No, you're not. I'm not a victim, you're not a victim, you're not a victim, you're not a victim, you are 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 not a victim of the world. You are not a victim of the world. You are not a victim of the world you see. You could also say, you are not a victim of the world you see. You're not a victim of the world you see. Where's my book? Welcome to A Course in Miracles, and we're going to talk about setting the goal. How do we set a goal? What is your goal? How do you set the goal? How do you achieve the goal from A Course in Miracles perspective? That's what we're going to talk about. Let's see what page we're going to be on in the Course in Miracles. Page 365 in the text, chapter 17, which is Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship. Forgiveness and the Holy Relationship, chapter 17, page 365, setting the goal. Setting a goal and achieving the goal. If you have your book, turn to 365. I'm especially wanting to be helpful to people who are studying the Course in Miracles and take the mystery out of, I can't study because the book is too hard. What you have to do, first and foremost, is you remember that you need not believe the ideas, you need not accept the ideas, you need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist some of the ideas. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe, and some of the ideas you may find quite startling. You're not being asked to judge the ideas at all. You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. The use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So what is it that will show you that the ideas are true? What will show you that the ideas are true is using the ideas. using the ideas. So let's take it, let's do it, and let's do it slow. So, is it simple to practically apply God's purpose, the Holy Spirit's purpose, love's purpose? It's simple. The practical application of the truth is simple. The practical application of these truths, it's simple. The practical application of the Holy Spirit's purpose is not only regularly simple, the application of the Course in Miracles is extremely simple, but it's also unequivocal. So what do you need to get out of your mind right now? That doing this is hard. That doing this is hard. That following God's guidance is hard. You need to get rid of that idea. That idea is not true. We were just told the practical application is simple, extremely simple. What is simple? What is something that's simple? What is simple is something that is easily understood. So the Course in Miracles is easily understood. The practical application of the truth is easily understood. So if it's easily understood, what's necessary for something to be easily understood? For something to be easily understood, it must be what? Clear. So this is simple and clear. So what you want to do in order to let yourself hit a new way of looking at things that's going to give you the happiness that you want. I mean, you do want happiness. You do want peace. You do want joy. You do want love. In case you've forgotten, that's why you're doing this. You're doing this so that you can be free of worry, free of concern, and free of fear, and free of guilt, and free of anger, and separation, and attack, and craziness in your life. You're doing this because you want to let go of the crazy. You're doing this because you want to let go of the fear. You're doing this because you want to have happiness. You want to have fun. You want to have joy. So first thing you need to remember is what? That the practical application of this is simple and it's easy. And so for this to be simple and easy, what does it have to be? The Course says it has to be clear. So how do we start? How do we start? Well, he says the setting of the Holy Spirit's goal is general. So what is the setting of Holy Spirit's goal? Well, the setting of the Holy Spirit's goal is love. The Holy Spirit's goal for you is love. The higher power's goal is love. The higher power's goal for you is love. Okay, the universe wants you to have love. The universe wants you to have love. Spirit wants you to have love. Spirit wants you to only experience love and happiness. Spirit just wants you to experience love and happiness. God just wants you to experience love. God just wants you to experience happiness. Spirit just wants you to be happy. Spirit just wants you to be happy. That's it. The Course in Miracles says the setting of the goal is general. But now the Holy Spirit is going to do what? He says, well, now the Holy Spirit will work with you to make the goal specific. I have the goal of loving everyone. Now Spirit is going to show me how to make it specific. Now we're going to teach you how to love your daddy, your mama, your friend, your relative, your dog. In other words, we're going to take that goal from general love to now we got to make it specific. So now it's time for you to get rid of the general stuff and start being able to apply the goal specifically. Apply the truth specifically. So what are you doing now? You are getting ready to learn how to apply the truth to every specific thing in your life. It's time for you to make this specific. You are able to do it specifically at work. You're able to do it specifically with your friends. You're able to do it specifically with your family. In other words, the Holy Spirit is going to work with you so that you can start specifically having peace. You can have peace financially, you can have peace spiritually, you can have peace mentally. In other words, we're going to make this specific. So how do you make the love specific? How do you make the peace specific? How do you make your happiness specific? Well, then what does it say in the very next sentence? The very next sentence says, there are certain very specific guidelines that God is going to provide for any situation that you're in. So you know the situation that you're in, right? You know that situation that you've been thinking about, right? You know that situation that you were thinking about before you tuned into this? You know that situation you were thinking about earlier this morning? Well, there are certain specific guidelines that Spirit is going to provide for any situation, okay? So I'm going to tell you what you need to do in this situation you're in right now so that you can have love and happiness. The situation that you're worried about right now, do you know that the situation that you're worried about right now, there are certain very specific guidelines that Spirit is providing for how you should deal with that situation. So it's essential at this point that we use these guidelines in each situation separately. So what is it that you're learning to do? You're learning how to apply the truth in every separate situation in your life. It's time for you to start applying the truth to every specific situation in your life. So there are very specific guidelines that God is giving you in order to have love and peace in this specific situation that you're dealing with right now. And do you know what that situation is? You know who that person is. You know who that person is. That whenever you think about dealing with them, you feel frustrated. You know what that situation is. That when you think about it, it doesn't give you total peace. Well, there are certain very specific guidelines that Spirit is going to give you for how to deal with that situation that's got you upset right now. So what is it that you need to remember? He says, well, what you need to remember is that you don't yet realize their universal application. You don't know how to use the truth in every situation in your life yet. You don't know how to apply what you are learning to every single situation in your life yet. So you need to use these guidelines in that specific situation that you're dealing with right now. So if you will apply what I'm about to tell you to the situation that you're going through that's causing you some upset right now or concern right now, I'm about to give you the guidelines for how to have peace and happiness in that situation that you've been concerned about. Do you know that I'm about to give you the solution to the worry in this situation or circumstance that you've been concerned about? And so it's essential that you use these guidelines in each situation in your life separately until you can more safely look beyond each situation you're in an understanding far broader than you now possess. So you've got to use the truth in every different situation that you're dealing with until you can look beyond each situation, because you have an understanding that is so broad that you know how you can apply the truth to every situation. So what is that saying, Earl? He's saying, I'm going to teach you how to apply the truth so that you can have a healing in specific situations until you get to the point that you know how to apply the truth in every situation that comes up in your life. I'm going to give you the answer to specific situations until you get to the point you can apply this answer to every situation in your life. The Course in Miracles is saying to you right now, I'm going to give you the answer to how you can have a solution in peace in this specific situation that you're going through until you get to the point you can apply this truth to any and every situation and every relationship that you're going through. I'm going to show you how to apply the healing to a specific situation until you learn how to apply the truth to every situation with an understanding that's much greater than the understanding you have right now. So what are you working toward? You're working toward having an understanding that's much greater than the understanding that you have right now. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. So you know that situation that you're thinking about right now, that you were concerned about? But do you know that you're going to apply the truth to that situation that's going to heal that situation? And it's simple. And it's going to be easily understood, what I'm going to tell you, and it's going to be clear. So I want you to set the goal that you want to experience happiness and peace and love in your life. That's your general goal. You want to have happiness and peace and love in your life. Tell yourself, I want to have happiness, peace, and love in my life. Say it to yourself. I want happiness, peace, and love in my life. What do you want? You want happiness, peace, and love in your life. Do you know that the way to have happiness and peace and love in your life is very simple? In order to be simple, it's got to be clear. So set the goal right now. Say, I am asking for happiness, peace, and joy in my life right now. Now it's time for you to make it specific. So how do you make that happiness, peace, and joy specific? Well, the Course in Miracles says you need to have some specific guidelines. I'm going to give you some guidelines as to how to deal with this situation that you're in right now that you may not be giving yourself a lot of happiness in. Do you have any area of your life right now that you don't feel completely happy in? Do you have any specific area in your life right now that you don't feel peace in? But I'm about to give you the specific guidelines for how to get out of that situation, that perception of that situation. Now, you don't realize how you can apply the truth to every situation in your life yet. So we're going to apply the truth to this specific situation until you can look beyond this specific situation with an understanding that's much greater than the understanding that you have right now. Are you ready? So do you have your situation? Do you have your situation? Do you have the situation that you know you don't feel complete peace about right now? Do you have a situation that you're worried about? Do you have a situation that you're unhappy in? That's the situation I want you to pick right now. I'm going to tell you something. If you don't get involved with your own healing, you're just going to pass out and go to sleep. You're going to go unconscious. The Course in Miracles says that the ego is going to try to make you go to sleep and go unconscious. And do you know how you keep that from happening? The way you keep that from happening is to think of a situation in your life right now that you know you have not been giving yourself complete peace about, and you need a solution, and you want a resolution in that situation. Think of a situation in your life right now that you know you need to see differently. So this is the first thing you need to do to get out of that situation or to have that situation healed. In any situation in which you are uncertain, if there's any situation in your life right now that you're feeling some doubt and you're feeling some uncertainty, do you have the situation? Okay. So what is the first thing you need to consider in that situation that you are feeling doubt in and you're feeling concern in? What is the first thing that you need to consider? Very simply, the first thing you need to consider in the situation that you need to have changed, the situation that you want changed, the situation that you're not pleased about, the first thing you should consider is, what do you want to come of this? What do you want to come of this situation? This situation that you're in right now, what do you want to come out of this situation? Consider this. What do you want to come out of the situation that you're in right now? What do you want to happen in this situation that you're in right now? What would you like to experience in this situation that's causing you concern right now? He says the first thing that you need to consider is, what do I want to come of this? What do I want to come of this? You know what situation I'm talking about. You know exactly the situation I'm talking about. You know exactly the relationship I'm talking about. So what should you ask yourself? What do I want to come out of this? What do I want to come out of this? What do you want to come out of this? What do you want to come out of this? What is it for? What is it for? What are you going through this for? What is this situation for? What is this situation for? What are you going through this for? What's the situation for? What do you want to come out of this? What do you want to come out of this situation that you're dealing with right now? What do you want to come out of this relationship situation? What do you want to come out of this financial situation? What do you want to come out of this job situation? What do you want to come out of this health situation? What do you want to come out of it? What do you want to come out of it? And in a situation that you have a lot of doubt and uncertainty, ask yourself, what do I want to come of this? What is it for? What is it for? This is the first thing to consider. What is it you want to come out of this situation? What are you going through this situation for? if there's a situation in your life that's causing you concern right now, I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to come out of that situation? What is it for? Ask those two questions. Why do you need to ask yourself, what do you want to come out of the situation? Why do you need to ask yourself, what is the situation for? You need to do that because the clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning. The first thing you need to do when you want to get out of a situation or you want to have a healing and a solution in a situation, you need to clarify what your goal is. You need to clarify what do you want to come out of the situation, and you need to clarify what the situation is for. That's the first thing you do if you want to solve the problem. That's the first thing you do if you want to get out of the dilemma that you think you're in. So why is it that you need to clarify the goal at the very beginning? Well, you need to clarify the goal at the very beginning because it's the goal that's going to determine how it turns out. What did you just say to me, Earl? The goal and your purpose is going to determine how it turns out. If your goal in a relationship is to have peace above all else, that's how it's going to turn out. You're going to have peace. The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning because it's the goal that's going to determine how it turns out. So if you don't have a goal, how is it going to turn out? How can it turn out the way you want it to turn out if you don't have the goal for it to turn out the way you want it to turn out? So consider, and in the situation you're dealing with right now, that you have some doubt and fear, consider what is it you want to come out of it and ask yourself what it's for. Clarify the goal at the very beginning because the goal determines the outcome. The goal will determine how it turns out. Your purpose will determine how it turns out. If you want to know how something is going to turn out, it's going to turn out according to your goal. So the first thing you need to do is to get clear about what you want to come out of the situation or circumstance or relationship. And you must ask yourself, what is this for? What is this relationship for? What is this circumstance for? What is this situation for? The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning. Why does the clarification of the goal belong at the beginning? The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning because the goal is going to determine how it turns out. The goal is going to determine how it turns out. Your goal is going to determine how it turns out. The Course in Miracles says, read me slowly. I know y'all can pretty much read, so it isn't about can you call words. It's about, do I realize what I'm being told? Am I hearing this? Because I have a situation that I need to see changed. So I need to get clear that the first thing I need to do in the situation that I'm dealing with right now that I'd like to see a change is I need to get clear, what do I want to come out of the situation? And I have to ask myself, what am I going through this for? And I must remember that I need to clarify my goal because my goal is going to determine how the situation turns out. The goal determines the outcome. So what happens when you don't know the truth? What happens when you're not in your right mind? What happens when you come from the ego? What happens when you come from your wrong-mindedness? What happens when you come from your frightened mind, your fearful mind, your separate mind? Well, the Course in Miracles says, well, in the ego's procedure, this is reversed. So what does that mean? It said somebody that doesn't know the truth, they let the situation become the determiner of the outcome. They let a situation come up and then they just say it kind of happened to them. So they're letting the situation be the determinant of the outcome. Most people don't have the slightest idea. Many people don't have the slightest idea what they want in anything or what they just know what they don't want. I don't want a person like this, and I don't want a situation like that, and I don't want a job like this. That's not the same as saying what you want. Saying what you don't want is not the same thing as asking for what you want. Saying what you don't like is not the same thing as considering what you want and setting a goal. So the Course in Miracles says a person that doesn't know the truth, they're just a person that stuff is always happening to, and then they just dealing with the situation. The situation determines the outcome, and the outcome can be anything. And so what kind of approach does the Course in Miracles call the kind of approach that a person that doesn't set goals? A person that doesn't set goals, the Course in Miracles says, do you know that's a person who has a disorganized approach? So a person that has a disorganized approach to life is a person that things are just always happening to, and they don't know why it happens. So if you're one of those people that something's always happening to you, and you don't know why it's happening, it's because you don't have an idea about what should happen. You haven't really set a goal. You haven't really set a purpose. That's why it looks like things are just happening to you, because when you have a goal, the goal determines the outcome. The goal determines the outcome. The goal determines the outcome. The outcome is going to be the way the goal is. Do you know that if you don't have a goal, then you're going to be a person that's always just dealing with situations that show up in your life, and you're letting the situation determine the outcome? That's a disorganized approach. So when you're in your ego, when you're in your wrong mind, when you're in the mind that doesn't want the truth, when you're in your frightened mind, when you're in your separate mind, the Course says the ego doesn't know what it wants. So the ego doesn't know what it wants to come of the situation. The part of you that is the ego, it doesn't know what it wants. The wrong mind doesn't know what it wants. The wrong mind doesn't know what it wants. The wrong mind does not know what it wants. When you're talking to a person that's in their wrong-mindedness, what is it that they're going to say to you? I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want in my relationships. I don't know what I want in my finances. I don't know what I want in my career. I don't know what I want spiritually. I don't know what I want in my body. So the ego doesn't know what it wants to come of the situation. So when you're in your ego, when you're in the wrong-mindedness, you don't know what you want to come of the situation. So what are you aware of when you're in your ego? When you're in your wrong-mindedness, what is it that you are aware of? Well, you are just aware of what you don't want. And that's all. What a person that's in their wrong mind, a person that's not listening to God, a person that's not listening to spirit, is a person that doesn't know what they want. So in the area of your life that you don't know what you want, that's the area of your life that you're in your ego. In the area of your life that you can't say what you want, that's the area of your life that you're in fear, that you're in separation, that you're in ignorance. The Course in Miracles defines ignorance as darkness. So whenever you see the term darkness in the Course in Miracles, it's talking about you being ignorant. It's where you have ignorance. That's where you're unaware of what's going on. So does that mean when you're in fear, anger, and guilt and grievances, does that mean that that's when you really don't know what you want? Yeah, that's when you really don't know what's going on. How do you know when you really don't know what's going on? How can you know every time that you really don't know what's going on? It will be whenever you're in a situation where you're saying, I don't know what I want. So wherever in your life that you're saying, I don't know what I want, that's the area of your life that you don't know what's going on. That's the area in your life that you're the most ignorant. That's that area of your life that you really don't know what the heck is happening. So if you don't know what you want in your relationship, then that's why your relationship is full of chaos and pain and unhappiness. The reason why that relationship is full of chaos, pain, and unhappiness is because you don't know what you want. The ego does not know what it wants to come of the situation. It's aware of what it does not want, and only that. So how can you tell when you're in your wrong mind? Because all you know is what you don't want. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want to live over there. I don't want to live over there. I don't want that pay. I don't want that dinner. I don't want to go to that restaurant. All I know is what I don't want. All I know is what I don't want. So if you're a person and all you know is what you don't want, that means you're a person who doesn't have a positive goal at all. So who is the person that doesn't have a positive goal at all? A person who doesn't know what they want. So wherever you don't know what you want is where you don't have a positive goal. Wherever you don't have a positive goal is where you will not know how it's going to turn out. Because it's not until you have a positive goal that you know how something is going to turn out. So if you're wondering how things are going to turn out in your life, you need to ask yourself, what do I want to come of my life? What do I want to come out of my life? And what is my life for? What is my life for? Ask yourself, what is your life for? Read the Course in Miracles slowly. Take a minute to hear what he's saying. I'm the divine repetition teacher. I've been doing this 43 years. I'm telling you, it's not important that you analyze and understand the Course in Miracles. It's not important that you analyze and understand the Course in Miracles. It's important that the first thing that you need to do is let yourself hear it. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with it or not, the first stage to changing your mind is letting yourself hear something new and different. That's why you hear me repeating over and over again, because I want you to hear what it's saying, because it's not until you begin to hear what it's saying that you get the miracles that you're looking for. The miracles that you're looking for come from remembering what the Course in Miracles is saying. The miracles that you're looking for do not necessarily come from understanding what the Course in Miracles is saying. Understanding is the booby prize. Having to understand is the booby prize. What do you mean, Earl? Well, instead of trying to understand, why don't you ask yourself, what is it that I want to come out of this relationship? What do I want to come out of this situation? What would I like to come out of this circumstance? You can do that. So instead of worrying about understanding what I'm talking about, what I'm going to suggest is that you do what the book is saying, which is right now in the situation that you're in, that you have any kind of trepidation or fear in, ask yourself and consider, what do I want to come out of this situation? What is it for? I'm going to set the goal, because the goal is going to determine how it turns out. So I'm in this relationship right now. Let me see. What do I want to come out of that? Well, I want freedom to come out of my relationship. I want innocence to come out of my relationship. I want safety to come out of my relationship. I want communication to come out of my relationship. I want joining to come out of my relationship. I want awakening to come out of my relationship. I want peace. I'm going to say some of the things over again. I want peace to come out of... Why? Because if that is my goal, if that's really what I want with this person, if that's really what I want in this relationship is peace, and I really do want it, then I know how it's going to turn out. I'm going to have peace in this relationship. I'm going to have peace in this relationship because that's my goal in this relationship. And if my goal is peace, there is a way to have it. There is no such thing as having a goal and not having the means to achieve it. There's no such thing as having a goal and there not being a way to achieve the goal if the goal is achievable and the goal is a real goal. So if you say, I want peace in my relationship, don't you dare say, I can't have peace in this relationship because of my partner or my friend or whoever else is in the relationship. Don't you dare say that. That is not true. If peace is possible, the way to have peace is also possible. But you need to get clear that that's what you really want is peace. You need to have a positive goal, because if you have a positive goal of having peace in your relationship, then the universe will give you the rules. The Course in Miracles will give you exactly what you need to do in order to have peace in that relationship. But what you need to do is set the goal that you want that. And you need to ask yourself, what do I want to come out of this relationship, and what is this relationship for? So what's going to happen if you don't have a clear-cut positive goal? So don't forget, even if you pass out, you can always watch it on the replay and start back up where you passed out, okay? All right, because I know what's happening. I know what's happening with you Course in Miracles students. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I know exactly the different. Some of you are jumping up and down, and you're so excited to hear what I'm saying because it's stimulating you to no end. And some of you, you're doing the best you can to even stay awake. Either one of those responses are responses that the Course in Miracles taught me that people were going to have as if I'm going to be a teacher of the Course in Miracles. You need to get clear. If you're going to be a teacher of the Course in Miracles, you're going to be dealing with a lot of going unconscious. He says that in the book. So I don't take it personal, but I do know I'm going to still keep giving it to you so that when you are awake, you will hear it, and you will hear it with enthusiasm, because you know what? You're finally ready to have what you want. You're finally ready to actually be happy. You're finally ready to actually have fun. You're finally ready to actually be the light of the world. So then you get excited about the way to accomplish it. So without a clear-cut positive goal set at the outset, the situation just seems to happen. It makes no sense until it's already happened. If you don't have a goal, situations just seem to happen to you that make no sense. If you don't have a clear-cut positive goal, you're going to be dealing with relationships that just seem to happen and don't make no sense until it's already happened. So after the thing has already happened, what do you do after something has already happened? He said, well, what you do after something has already happened to you, you look back on the thing that's happened to you, and then you try to piece together what it must have meant. I didn't really have any goal. The situation in relationship that's just happened to me, now I'm trying to piece together what it must have meant. And guess what? When you try to piece together what something must have meant, do you know what happens when you're trying to look back on stuff and piece together what it must have meant? What's going to happen? You will be wrong. What? You will be wrong. When you look back on a situation that you didn't have any goal in the first place, and that relationship or situation just seemed to happen, when you try to interpret it, you're going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. What do you mean? The reason why you're going to be wrong is you're judging things based on the past. And the reason why you're going to be wrong when you look back on things that have happened to you, trying to figure out what it meant, the reason you're going to be wrong is you didn't have any idea what should have happened in that situation in the first place. You didn't have a goal in that relationship in the first place. That's why things just seem to happen in that relationship. And now you're trying to look back at that relationship or situation and figure out why that happened. But you're going to be wrong because you didn't have any idea about what should happen in the first place. So, since you don't really know what happened in the situation that you're upset about, since you don't know what happened to cause the situation that you're upset about, the Course in Miracles says you only have one judgment left to make. Since you don't really know what's going on, he says you just have one judgment to make. So when you don't really know what's going on, and things that just seem to happen that you don't understand, he says there's only one thing in the end your ego is going to do. He says what your wrong mind is going to do is say, okay, I didn't have any idea what should happen in this relationship, and it don't make any sense to me, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask myself, do I like what's happened, or is what's happened in this relationship acceptable to me, or does what's happening in this relationship call for vengeance? In other words, I don't know what the hell is going on in my relationship. I didn't have any idea what should have happened in the first place. So now I'm in a situation in a relationship that don't make no sense at all. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to piece together what it must have meant. But I'm going to be wrong because I didn't have any idea about what should happen in the first place. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to step back and I'm going to go, do I like this or not? Is this acceptable or not? Is this something I can be okay with? Is this something I need to attack? In other words, when I don't know what's going on, all I'm going to do is look at situations and go, do I like this or do I don't like it? Is this something I like or something I don't like? He said, people who don't know the truth, people who don't have goals, people who don't have purposes, he said that a person like that, all they do all day is, did I like this or did I not like this? Did I like them or did I not like them? Did they say something that was fine or did they say something that I got upset about? Am I hearing something that's making me afraid or am I hearing something that makes me feel good? That's all a person who doesn't know the truth and who sets no goals for themselves and sets themselves up to be a victim. A person like that, all they're doing all day long is what? Reacting to everything. They're just reacting. They don't have any idea what should happen. But did that person do something I liked, or did that person do something that upset them? Did my child do something I liked, or did my child do something that upset me? Did my boss do something that I like, or did my boss do something that upsets me? A person who is in their wrong mind, a person who's in their ego, a person who does not know the truth, all they do all day long is react to everything. And they react to it in terms of, did I like it or didn't I like it? Is this calling for vengeance and attack? Or is this calling for me to be chilled out and okay? It's unconscious people, that's what they do all day long. They don't have any idea what should happen because they set no goals for themselves at the beginning of the day. So all they do all day is react to things that have happened, and they react in terms of, is this something that upsets me or is this something that doesn't upset me? That's the average person. That's what they're doing all day long. So do you know why your understanding is doubtful? Do you understand why your evaluations are impossible? Do you know why your judgments are impossible? Do you know why your judgments are impossible? Well, the absence of a criterion for outcome, the absence of a goal set in advance makes understanding doubtful and makes evaluation impossible. If you don't have a goal, then you're going to have doubt and you're going to not be able to evaluate situations correctly. So if you want to know what keeps you from being able to evaluate situations, that situation you're in, you know what's keeping you from being able to evaluate that situation that you're in correctly? What's keeping you from being able to evaluate the situation or circumstance or relationship you're in correctly is you don't have any idea of what should happen. You haven't set a goal in that relationship. And if you haven't set a goal in the relationship, understanding is doubtful and evaluation is impossible. So it's answering my questions. Why is it that I'm full of doubt? Why is it I don't know what's going on? The Course in Miracles keeps saying, because you don't have a goal. You haven't really asked yourself what you really want to come out of that job, that relationship, that financial situation, your spiritual awareness. You don't even know what you want to come out of your spiritual awareness. You haven't even gotten clear about what your goal is and what you want to get out of A Course in Miracles. You haven't even gotten clear about what you want out of God. You haven't even gotten clear about what you want to come out of your relationship with God. If you want to go in the direction of a higher power, why? What do you want that for? What do you want that relationship with God for? What do you want that relationship with me for? Why are you watching this class? What do you want to come out of this class? Why do you bother to show up? Why do you bother to even tune in? Because if you don't get clear about why you're watching Earl Purdy, then you won't be able to evaluate whether or not that's going to help you get what you want. Because you don't know what you want out of me. I love you all's comments. I love that. I love to see how you are tuned in with me and how you are focused in. Because do you know that what the Course in Miracles is doing right now is telling you exactly how to have happiness and peace in every situation? Now, let's get this clear. What I'm sharing with you is how you can have happiness and peace and fulfillment in this specific situation that you're in right now. How you can have happiness and peace and love right now. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm sharing with you. If you want to be able to understand how to deal with the situations and circumstances that you're dealing with in your life right now, that is exactly what I'm telling you from A Course in Miracles. Do you know why it's hard for a person to listen to this? Do you really want to know why it's hard for you to listen to this? You don't believe it. If you really believe that the Course in Miracles would get you what you wanted, you would be riveted. It's no such thing as not paying attention to somebody telling you how to have exactly what you want easily. So I had to get honest with myself with the Course in Miracles. I had to go, well, you know, Purdy, there's a part of you that doesn't want this, doesn't believe this, and doesn't think that what it's promising is going to happen. That's why you don't focus in, Earl. You don't focus in because you don't believe it. You don't believe it's really going to deliver on what it's offering you. Because if you really believe that the Course in Miracles would give you a life in which you don't have any cares, any worries, any anxieties, and you're being taken care of all the time, and you're being given what you need to stay, and you're being surrounded by loving, conscious beings. If you really believe that the Course in Miracles could deliver on that promise, you'd be riveted. You would not only, Earl, be riveted to what the Course in Miracles is saying, you would be doing what the Course in Miracles is saying. And so it's hard for you to focus in because you don't believe it, and that's okay. You don't have to believe it in the beginning. What you must do in the beginning is let yourself hear it. Do whatever it takes to let yourself hear it. Hear what? Hear what? Paragraph 4. Hear that the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen. What is the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen? What's the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen? Well, the value in setting a goal, the value in deciding in advance what you want to happen is simply that you will perceive the situation as a means to make what you want to happen. See, if I decide what I want to experience before I take you out, when I take you out, I will see that as a situation to make that happen. If I've decided that I want to take you out to dinner, then I know that taking you out to dinner is a way to make that happen. So if I know what I want to happen with you, then I'm going to use all the time I'm with you to try to make what I want to happen. If we decided we're going to go to dinner, then I'm going to be doing everything in my power right now to make that dinner happen. So once you know what you want to happen in any situation, you're going to always see that situation as an opportunity for you to make what you want to happen. That's the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen, is you'll see every situation as an opportunity to make what you want to happen. If I say I want to have friendship and I've just gone to a party, I'm in a party that somebody invited me to, and I don't know hardly anybody in there, and I'm saying that I want to make new friends, then when I walk in the room, I'm seeing that party as an opportunity to do what? That party is an opportunity to make new friends happen. I'm going to see the situation as an opportunity to make what I want to happen. And I'm saying I want to make some new friends. I set that goal before I walked into the party. So when I go into the party, I'm looking at the room in terms of who can I make friends with? Who can I make friends with? Because I want to make friends. I decided that that's what I wanted to do before I even came in the room. Before I even came in the room, I set a goal. Before I even came into the room, I set the goal that I wanted to make some new friends. So what am I seeing this situation as being? What am I seeing this party as being? I am seeing this party as an opportunity for me to make new friends. It's an opportunity for me to make what I want to happen. And that's what every situation in your life is. That everywhere you go all day long, it's what? Just another opportunity to make what you want happen. That's what any situation is. If you say you're into the Course in Miracles, and that's why you're watching me right now, then you should be using this time right now as an opportunity to make the learning of A Course in Miracles happen. That was why you showed up. You showed up because you wanted to hear what the Course in Miracles has to say. So you have to see this as an opportunity to make what you want to happen. You say you want to have a loving relationship. Well, the relationship that you're in right now is an opportunity for you to practice how to have a loving relationship. It's an opportunity to make what happens happen. Do you know that if you say you want to forgive and you want to learn how to forgive, then that means every time you're around somebody you have a grievance with, you are having another opportunity to make forgiveness happen. The purpose of that situation is to give you an opportunity to achieve your goal. And you said you wanted to forgive. You said you wanted to forgive. So now you're around the person that irritates you. What are they doing? They're giving you an opportunity to make what you said you want to happen. You're getting an opportunity to achieve your goal. Every situation, every relationship is an opportunity to achieve your goal in that situation and in that relationship. This is simple stuff. This is simple stuff, and I'm making it perfectly clear. Just like he said. Stop reading the Course in Miracles so fast and stop reading it like you're reading a novel. Don't just call words. Don't just go, the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen is simply that you will perceive the situation as a means to make it happen. You will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective and concentrate on everything that helps you meet it. It is quite noticeable this approach has brought you closer to the Holy Spirit, sorting out of truth and falsity. You're just calling words. But if you go, the value of deciding in advance what I want to happen is I'm going to see this situation that I'm in as a means to make what I want to happen. So my marriage is an opportunity for me to make what I want to happen in my marriage happen. And I want love and peace in my marriage. So every time me and my partner get together, it's another opportunity for us to give each other joy and peace together, because that's the purpose of our relationship. See, that's different from just calling words. So how do you do that? How do you make every situation? I'm going to give you a great answer right now. How do you make every situation that you're in, how do you make that situation a situation that makes what you want to happen? How can you guarantee that you can have the kind of peace that you want in every situation? I'm about to tell you that. What is it that I'm about to tell you? I'm about to tell you how to make it happen. I'm about to tell you from A Course in Miracles how to make what you want to happen. You're about to hear that right now. Okay, what do? Well, it says, you will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. What are you going to do? When I'm with you and I have a desire to be peaceful with you, then I'm going to make every effort I can to overlook anything that would make me mad at you. If I want to have peace with you, I'm going to start overlooking everything that you would say that would irritate me. I'm going to start overlooking everything you say that's not full of love and peace, because I want peace with you. And the way that I'm going to have peace with you is to overlook everything that happens between us that keeps us from having peace with each other. I'm not going to focus on everything that's going on between us that could keep us upset with each other. I'm not going to be focusing on all of your lacks and everything that you do that doesn't meet my expectations. I'm going to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of my objective, and I am going to concentrate on everything that helps me meet my goal. I'm going to overlook whatever keeps me from reaching my goal, and I'm going to focus my attention on everything that helps me meet my goal. An example, I want to have peace in my relationship with you. So I'm going to overlook all the stupid stuff you say that's crazy and that could cause some kind of separation and anger between us. And I'm going to focus on everything we can do to keep ourselves in peace with each other. I'm going to focus on what helps me achieve my goal. I'm going to overlook what keeps me from achieving my goal. I'm going to focus on what helps me reach my goal. I'm going to start overlooking what keeps me from reaching my goal. He says right here, you're in a situation, you're getting an opportunity to make what you want to happen, happen. So what you do is what? What do you do is what? You make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective. And how do you overlook what interferes with your goal? He says you concentrate on everything that helps you meet your goal. If you concentrate on everything that gives you peace in the relationship, where you are in alignment with each other, where you do have a similar goal, if you focus on those things, then it will help you overlook all the differences between you that you could be clashing about. And it's quite noticeable that this approach has brought you closer to the Holy Spirit sorting out of truth and falsity. So what is the real way you should look at what's true and what's false? How can you tell what should you call true and what should you call false? What should you call true and what should you call false? Well, what's true is whatever helps you meet your goal. What? Yeah, if you want to know what's true in any situation, it's going to be whatever helps you reach your goal. If I want to have peace with you, then any thoughts that bring peace and love between us, I'm going to say that's the true thought. Because the true thought is going to be the thought that helps me reach my goal. And my goal is not to attack you. And my goal is to have peace with you. And my goal is to have joy with you. So any thoughts that I have of peace, love, and joy, that's what's true. If we study the course together, that's what's true. Whatever helps me reach my goal, that's what's true. And the false becomes the useless from this point of view. So what does that mean? If it's not going to help me reach my goal, I'm going to call it false and untrue. So if believing that you hate me and judging you and you judging me and us criticizing and blaming each other, that's not going to help us reach the goal of truth, is it? We're not going to have truth with each other and peace with each other if we're criticizing and condemning each other. So we'll get to the point that we go, any negative thoughts we have about each other, we're going to say those thoughts are not true. Those thoughts are untrue. Anything that we say about each other that doesn't help us love each other and help us have peace with each other, we're going to go, that thought isn't true. That thought is false. So a false thought is something that doesn't help you reach your goal, and a true thought is anything that helps you reach your goal. So what's true is what helps you reach your goal, and what's false is what makes you not achieve your goal. So now you know what the situation means. Now you know the situation is meaningful. Why is the situation meaningful? Why is my relationship with you meaningful? It's meaningful because I have a goal. My goal is to have peace and love and joy and unity and oneness with you. Everything that keeps me from feeling that way about you, I'm going to call that false, that I'm telling myself something false about you. Every thought of love and peace and joy that I have about you, I'm going to say that's what's true, because that's what's helping me reach my goal, which is to have peace and love and oneness with you. Now my relationship with you has meaning, because now I have a purpose and a goal for my relationship with you. So now our love has meaning, because we want to use our love to bring us peace and joy and happiness. And that's what you do in every situation. Right now, I'm just applying this to a specific situation, like a specific relationship. But one day, you're going to start applying what I just told you from A Course in Miracles to every situation that you go through. And the situation has meaning now. Why does the relationship have meaning now? The relationship has meaning because you gave it a goal that made it mean something. If you're in a relationship and you don't have any kind of goal for it, it doesn't mean anything. You're in a relationship or circumstance that doesn't mean anything. If you don't know what the purpose and the goal is, then you don't have the slightest idea what the situation or circumstance means. So the fact that your goal is God, your goal is peace, your goal is fun, your goal is happiness, now you know what the relationship is for. And now every time you're together, you're going to use it as an opportunity to see how much joy and love y'all can make happen, because you're going to see the situation as an opportunity to make what you want to happen, happen. And now the goal has made the situation meaningful. So I'm going to do a quick little recap in just a minute, because I always listen right back to my classes, because I know first and foremost everything I'm teaching is for me to remember. But after 4 decades, I know that the Course in Miracles works, and it works when you work it, and I know that it asks less of me than any other teaching or discipline that I've ever tried to study out of all these years. Like today, it really didn't ask you to do anything you couldn't do right now. Tell me one thing I told you that you couldn't do right now. Don't tell me you couldn't set a goal right now. Don't say that you couldn't use every situation that you're in as an opportunity to achieve your goal. Anything that's real, anything that's true is always something you can do right now. Not in the future, not in the past, but it'll always be something you can do right now. And everything that I told you from A Course in Miracles is something you can do right now and have the kind of happiness and peace that you would want in that situation. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, then go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. That's P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy.com. You can use Venmo, you can use Zelle, you can use the Cash App, and you can use PayPal. My email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Thank you in advance. I'm available for one-on-one sessions, one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, where we can bring my 40-plus years of experience in teaching this and learning this into your situation and circumstance, because you don't have a situation that the Course in Miracles does not address and give you very specific ways to deal with it, to get past it, if you really want to do that. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook Live. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles is especially geared toward people who are actively studying A Course in Miracles, and they want to take advantage of someone who has had as much experience in it and love for it as I have, but you're ready to save some time. So serious, sincere Course in Miracles students, and anybody's welcome to watch, but I'm especially, in my classes, my focus is on being especially helpful to people who read and study and are trying to apply the Course in Miracles. You turn me on. So you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can get more details about my clarity sessions, and you can self-book an appointment right from my website. Those of you who are open to receiving information in other ways that are equally powerful, I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist. So you also have an opportunity to have me work with you from that perspective also. The Course in Miracles teaches that the Holy Spirit can use whatever you've learned as a means to teach the truth. All my classes are on YouTube. Please share my videos. Earl Purdy page on Facebook. So I want you to take a breath right now. Take a breath, close your eyes, give me a couple of minutes, close your eyes. And in the situation that you have doubt in and uncertainty in, whatever that situation is, you know the one I'm talking about. This is what I want you to do right now. Ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this? What do I want to come out of this? What do I want out of this? What do I want out of them? What do I want out of them? What do I want out of this? What is this for? So if you're going through a situation or circumstance right now, ask yourself, what do I want to come out of this? What is it for? You need to clarify that at the very beginning, because that's going to determine how the situation turns out. You might say you want to love everybody, but the Holy Spirit, the higher power, is going to start very specific. You might say you want to love everybody, you love everybody, but let's start with your daddy. Let's start with your wife. Let's start with your kid. Let's make it more specific. So there are guidelines. There are guidelines. So ask yourself, what do I want to come of this? What is it for? The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning. The clarification of the goal belongs where? At the beginning. Why do you need to clarify the goal at the beginning? Because the goal determines the outcome. The goal determines the outcome. So if you don't come up with a goal for what you want to have happen in the situation, do you know that you're just going to be another person that things are always happening to? Do you know that you will just be another person that's always having something happen to them unexpectedly? And so you're always dealing with stuff in terms of, do I like it or do I need to get upset about it? Do I like this or do I need to attack about it? The Course in Miracles says a person who doesn't know the truth is a person that's always just reacting. The reason why they're just reacting is that they didn't have any idea of what should happen. And if you're really smart and you start to wake up to your spiritual truth and you know what you want to come out of in a situation and you know what you want to come out of the situation, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to see the situation as an opportunity to make what you want to happen. See, the situation that you're in right now is an opportunity to make what you want to happen. In that relationship that you're in right now, see it as another opportunity to make what you want to happen. Every situation that you're in is another opportunity to make what you want to happen. Whatever situation you're in right now is another opportunity to make what you want to happen. So what is the value of deciding in advance what you want to happen? You're going to see the situation that you're in as an opportunity to make what you want to happen. So how do you make what you want to happen? How do you make what you want to happen? The way you make what you want to happen is you concentrate on everything that helps you meet your goal and you overlook everything that interferes with your goal. If you want to really make what you want to happen, then you have to overlook what keeps you from meeting your goal, and you need to concentrate your attention on what helps you meet your goal. If I want to have peace and love with my child, and that is my goal, the next time I go to see my child, then when I'm with my child, that situation where I'm with my child is an opportunity for me to make more peace between me and my child happen. Because I have a goal for being with my child. I want to let go of any grievance that me and my child could possibly have. My goal is to go beyond any kind of grievances that I have with my child. So the next time I'm with my child, I'll see it as just another opportunity to make what I want to happen. So how do I make what I want to happen with my child? This is how I make it happen. I focus on every loving thought, every peaceful thought, every encouraging thought that I can possibly think of, because that's going to help me reach my goal of peace with my child when I'm with my child. I'm going to say as much loving and encouraging things that I can possibly say to my child, because that will help me reach my goal, which is to have a more peaceful experience with my child. So what is it that I'm going to overlook? I'm going to overlook any criticism my child may have of me. I'm going to overlook any misperceptions my child might have of me. I'm going to overlook any negative, angry thing that my child may say to me, because focusing on anger and grievances, that's not going to help me achieve my goal. Focusing on anger and grievances, that will not help me achieve my goal of happiness and peace. If I'm focusing on everything that upsets me, and my goal is to have complete peace, then that is not going to help me reach my objective. So I've got to start overlooking everything that would make me lose my peace. And when I'm with you, I need to focus on everything that helps me keep my peace. This approach is what the Holy Spirit is trying to teach us. What's true becomes whatever you can use to meet your goal. And what is false is anything that won't help you meet your goal. So criticizing my kid and judging my kid, that must be thoughts that are not true, thoughts that are not valid, because that's not helping me reach my goal of peace and happiness with my kid. So I'm going to have to start to say all the negative, fearful, angry thoughts that I have, that's what I'm going to call illusions. That's what I'm going to say is not a representative of the truth. It's not representative of the truth, because that angry, upsetting stuff is not going to help me have any kind of joy or fun or happiness with my kid. So what's true is what helps me reach my goal, and what's not true is what interferes with my goal. And now the situation has meaning. Mighty companions, watch this or listen to this at least 4 times. Be proactive in your awakening. Know you have an ego, and your ego doesn't want you to hear this. Your ego doesn't want you to hear this. Your wrong mind is going to try to always make you go unconscious and not let you hear the truth. The Course has already taught us that. But you are not your ego. You're not that part of you that wants you to suffer all the time, so it makes sure you don't ever really hear the truth. Because that's the part of you that wants you to suffer, so it tries to block it out. That's not the real you. The real you wants only love. The real you wants fun. The real you wants healing. The real you wants happiness. That's what the real you wants. And the Course in Miracles is talking to the real you. The Course in Miracles isn't really talking to your ego so much as it's talking to you. I'm talking to you. Mighty companions, I love you. I appreciate you. You are so wonderful. Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page is Hardcore Course in Miracles. Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time is another Facebook Live on the Course in Miracles. You can come and attend in person if you're in Denver. I'm at 1555 Race Street. 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado, 80206. Mighty companions, may the Course be with you. I know you have made what I want to happen, which was us joining together in love and truth. Bless you. Thank you, cast of thousands.